Well,
are
there any moments to the gentleman in the bottom left corner where you're not proud to be an American, when you're ashamed of the behaviors of your own country, or do you support America without any caveat 100% of the time, like a loyal slave?
What is going on, everybody? Lucas here. A conservative pundit just demanded a loyalty oath from a black woman on live television and called it patriotism. Briahna Joy Gray came on to talk about birthright, citizenship, and the 14th Amendment. Adam Sosnick decided the real conversation was whether she would perform pride on command. Say you are proud. Say it now. Say it the way I want you to say it. She did not take the bait. Instead, she laid out her family's entire history. Ancestors who fought in segregated United Colored Troops for their own freedom during the Civil War, and explained why her relationship with America is complicated in ways he's never had to be. He called her a beautiful victim. Full breakdown at the end. Subscribe and let's get into it.
Cenk Uygur, welcome back to Uncensored. I mean, an interesting point there, that it's kind of a place for everyone to come. Of course, the irony of this Supreme Court ruling was that Donald Trump was trying to, in a way, go against that, and trying to reinvent the wheel a bit about what it means to have birthright citizenship in the United States. How significant is this Supreme Court ruling, and why is it so important?
Yeah, first of all, it shouldn't have been an issue in the first place. It's a clear-cut law, and there's no question about it. So look, there's a lot of great reasons why America is, in my opinion, the best. And so it doesn't mean that America doesn't have any flaws. Of course, every country has flaws, and we certainly have deep flaws. And by the way, when you point out the flaws, it doesn't mean that you don't love the country. We do love the country. That's how you make it better, right? But are we better than other countries? Of course we are. I mean, look, we have freedom of speech. And if I can't be a loudmouth somewhere, it's not the right place for me. So, for example, in Britain, you no longer have any freedom. I can't even go into Britain because I've criticized a different country. So thank God we got our independence from that oppressive country. And there's also freedom of religion for an atheist. That's super important. I don't want to live in a Muslim state. I don't want to live in a Jewish state. I don't want to live in a Christian state. It's really important. Hope and opportunity are real. My parents brought me here. I went to some of the best colleges in the world and got to set up a business. There's so many reasons to love this country, but actually Andrew hit on something that's really important, which is that if you go to China, you can't become Chinese. If you go to France, you can't become French. But you can become an American, because America is an idea. It's an idea about freedom, hope, opportunity, equality, and justice. And we should all try to live up to that idea because it's a beautiful one. And I'm super proud to be an American because of that.
Yeah, Republicans have done a very good job of creating the rhetorical environment they want to fight in. If they look at polls and they see that people are concerned about immigration, they're going to make the conversation about immigration. If they don't have a lot in terms of economic policy to make people's lives better, they're going to make the case that the reason that your life isn't better under Democrats is because Democrats are spending too much time on, say, trans issues. And I think that now some leftists in the Democratic Party are using that strategy to their advantage. And they're now saying, okay, the reason why your life isn't better is because we're spending billions of dollars on Israel for them to commit a genocide against people who have never done anything wrong to you. And it's not just the core issue. It's not so much, I think, that people were so invested in trans issues. People are invested in, I think, Israel and Gaza because that's a substantive humanitarian issue. But the core, the key fact there is you are doing worse off because your leadership is distracted by things that have nothing to do with your life.
Also, it's hard for us over here. But why do you think, I mean, Trump obviously is a very divisive, toxic, polarizing president. We know that. But there have been plenty of polarizing presidents before. Why are Americans not even coming together to be united for something like 250 years of independence?
Well, great to be on, Piers. You know, they say breaking up is hard to do. Thank you for the offer to come back to the monarchy. We're good. I agree with Cenk and with Andrew and the other friend here that we love it here in America. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, 250, July 4th. I don't know where you're seeing that people aren't proud to be Americans, maybe in certain parts of society. But overall, Americans are very proud, especially people with common sense on the right. There was a poll that came out on CNN. We love our CNN. 93% of Republicans are extremely proud to be American. Juxtapose that, only 27% of Democrats are proud to be American. Here's this lovely girl right here. I don't know where she stands on this, but she should be proud to be American.
And on the birthright issue, this cuts to the quick, really, Adam, of what it means to be an American. You know, the founding fathers clearly intended if you were born in the United States, you're an American. Why try and tamper with that intrinsic sort of bedrock foundational thing about what it means to be actually an American?
Well, there's a lot of people in America who should be thankful that they have the golden ticket of life, but some of the biggest haters of America live in America. I think ultimately, if you want to ask judicial questions, bring on an attorney, bring on a judge. For me, it comes down to one thing. Do you love the country you're in? I'm super proud to be American. I was at Mar-a-Lago. They gave me this pin, and we did a big valuetainment event with Patrick and David. They gave us hundreds of extra American flags pins. Here's a little experiment, Piers. I want to know what you would say to this and the rest of the panel. I started giving American flags out to everyone I saw. Hey, how you doing? The people that loved America were so grateful. Oh, my God. Some people in Miami thought that I was giving them a little bag of drugs. It was just an American flag, relax. But what I found out is that leftists and people that should love America, from America, they would be disgusted. I don't want this. I would never wear this. I said, hey, listen, they just renounced the cost to renounce your citizenship. They just lowered it from $2,500 to $450. Anyone who wants to leave America, who is an American, I'm sponsoring them to gladly get them the renouncement of citizenship for $450. Sign up at VT.com. But other than that, you got to be proud to live in America. Even these people that I respectfully disagree with on a lot of issues, they're even proud to be an American.
Well, actually, before I come to Brian, then let me just ask Briahna: are you proud to be an American?
I think I'm likely to be the most American person on this panel. My relatives have fought in every war that Americans have ever fought, including the Civil War, where my ancestors fought in segregated United Color troops for their own freedom and the freedom of all Black people in America. There's been a lot of talk about the Founding Fathers, but birthright citizenship comes from the 14th Amendment, which was established after the Civil War to give Black Americans who had been brought here via chattel slavery citizenship rights in the country that they had been brought to against their will. The Statue of Liberty, a symbol that has become synonymous with immigration rights, was actually gifted by France to the United States to commemorate the end of slavery. So understandably, my feelings about this country to which I was brought, my ancestors were brought as slaves, is complicated. But I think what's beautiful about America, the promise of America, is that it can become a more perfect union. That's what the preamble to the Constitution asks of us, to continue to endeavor to become better. And while I think it's healthy and good to have pride in one's country, I lived overseas as a kid and found myself defending America from all kinds of insults all the time. I have a deep cultural affection for this country. My whole culture of people was invented and formed and is uniquely American as a Black American. I think that it would be a mistake to stop endeavoring to make the country better and to live up to the promise of its ideals.
That's a very good answer, but I've noticed you haven't actually answered the question. Are you proud to be an American right now?
You know, it's really hard, Piers, right now when our country is synonymous with executing a genocide that has killed hundreds of thousands of people on the other side of the world. So there are aspects of being an American that I am very proud of.
You're a beautiful girl. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
Hang on.
Are you proud to be an American or not? That's it.
Hang on, Briahna. Were you proud to be an American under Barack Obama?
Not in particular. I mean, to me, it wasn't. Barack Obama had deep flaws and failings, including executing a drone war and being the
which president were you proud to be an American under?
I think that my pride in being American has less to do with our political leadership, which is often
give me a time period when you were proud to be an American.
I'm proud in relationship to my fellow countrymen.
No, I get it. But which period of your life as an American?
Sad to watch.
Briahna, which period of your life as an American? You spoke very eloquently about your family fighting in all the wars. Very impressive. But at which period of your life would you have answered yes to the question,
Well,
Are you
Piers, because
proud
there's
to be an
moments
American?
every single day of my life. There are moments that I'm proud to be an American. I had
That's
a
not the
beautiful
same.
interaction.
That's not the same.
Good.
Wait.
Good.
What's not the same?
Well, let
You
me
think
bring
that there are
Brian in.
epics
Let me
and
bring
eras
Brian
and-
in. I want to bring Brian in. Brian, you see,
That wasn't so hard
there's an
to
interesting
do,
equivocation
Briahna.
there because
Just say you're proud to be an American.
Adam's
That
just
would've been a
proud to be an
beautiful answer.
American. Full
Well,
stop.
are there any moments to the gentleman in the bottom left corner where you're not proud to be an American, when you're ashamed of the behaviors of your own country, or do you support America without any caveat 100% of the time, like a loyal slave?
I wish that you
directed
loved
to me?
America the way that the average American did. I really do. It's sad to see.
Are you going to
I
answer
use
my
this
question?
as an example of
Are
what's
you a loyal slave,
What was your
Adam
question?
Sosnick? Yes or no?
No, we live in the freest country in the world. Nobody here's a slave. The
Okay,
fact
so you're
that she
free
had
to
to
critique
give this
America.
long, beautiful
So
answer rather than
you
saying, yes, I'm proud to be an
appreciate your
American
right,
is a
and
problem.
you
And
exercise your
I think we
right
need to address
critique
it.
America. Or do you slavishly
saying you
defend
can't,
it even
Briahna.
when
You
it doesn't
speak very
deserve defending?
Well, why can't you be proud of your country
Yeah, nobody-
100% of the
just be
time,
proud to
but
be an
accept that the
American,
country
that's
has
it.
flaws? Let me bring Brian in.
That's an
Everybody,
absurd-
right, hang on,
that's an
Brian.
absurd logical
Hang
fallacy.
on. Let's
There
let
are
Brian.
Briahna, why
very
is a
big-
Brit
Please.
defending America more than you? You should be a proud American.
Let's let Brian speak. Interesting.
Go ahead.
It's an interesting thing, Brian, right? This question which Briahna has raised, which is, can you say on a day when you're feeling angry about something your country's done, can you say, right, on that day you're not proud of your country? Or should pride in your country be the overarching thing which overrides everything, albeit you may find there are things your country does you don't like, but your pride never dims? Where do you sit with this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Pierce, on this very special celebration. I am proud to be an American. Now, there are times in our country that I can completely disagree on the direction that our government is headed, the things that we're involved with. But to be able to have this conversation, I think she is proud to be American because in certain countries, you can't even go on a platform like we are right now and have this very discussion.
Right.
So I think deep down inside, she is proud to be American because if she lived on any other soil, she wouldn't be able to have this dialogue. But
Well, no one needs to speak for me. I'm happy to articulate my own
well, then you
views
need
on
to
the
say
matter.
it then. I think
In
what
a
we're
very
all looking
long-winded
for
answer, I may add.
is for
Well,
you
I'm
to
sorry
say,
if you
yes,
want a kind
I'm
of
proud
dim-witted black
to
or
be
white knee-jerk
an American.
response
It's
to
not
this.
about race.
But we
It's
live
not
in a
about race.
complicated world. If it's too complicated for you, I don't know what to
what
tell
a beautiful
you.
victim this beautiful girl is. What a beautiful victim.
Well, thank you for the
don't you think?
Let me
compliment.
bring
I'm a-
in.
Well, there's kind of like two things being conflated here, right? There's like love and appreciation for your American country folk and just like having an Americana appreciation for the people of this strange, amazing land. Like, for example, I'm going to Alaska in a couple days for the 4th of July celebration where they're going to launch 100 cars off of the cliff and everyone's going to light fireworks and eat food from the gas station and just enjoy some Americana. Whereas the other one is like the
Sign
U.S.
me up.
roles in the other one is like U.S. imperialism and like, I guess, seeing foreign intervention, which is obviously costly, happening at the same time that most people in my generation have like 2 jobs, 3 roommates, and are just unfulfilled and have no community. So I think it's probably like feels weird for people to wear like an American flag pin or feel patriotic as far as like the U.S. as a global imperial force while life on domestic soil is so bad, especially for like the Gen Z population. So I feel like there's kind of 2 different things being discussed here, which is like, do you love America as a group of people, as like a cultural mass of unique individuals, or do you like the U.S. as like a global military force that, backs CIA coups every time somebody wants to have their own elections?
Well, that's the
problem. And this is the issue. America's so young, right? We're about 250 years old. The national identity is still forming. We're still trying to kind of figure out what's going on here, and it might change over time. So to some people, they're offended by the idea that anybody would ever move here and have some pride for their home country. And to them, it's all about birthright Americans who connect to the founding fathers and live in Algona, Iowa, next to an Applebee's and play Little League and do stuff like that. And then to other people, it's like Queens, New York, where it's all a bunch of like 1st and 2nd generation immigrants who are coming to be part of this like multicultural experiment. So I think that's part of the issue is American means different things to different people. When you ask what's an American, we don't know yet. And I think because it's so vast and so new, that makes room for a lot of interpretations and they conflict so much. So that might
Let's talk about what actually happened on that panel because the loyalty test moment exposes the entire playbook and Briahna Joy Gray refused to play along with any of it. Start with what Adam Sosnick actually did because it needs to be named precisely. He did not ask a question. He issued a demand. Are you proud to be an American? Say it now. Say it the way I say it. And when she gave a thoughtful, historically grounded answer about why her relationship with this country is complicated, he called it equivocation. He said it was sad. He called her a beautiful victim. A grown man on international television reducing a woman's entire documented family history to a performance problem because she would not produce the emotional response he wanted on cue. That is not patriotism. That is a loyalty test, and the difference matters enormously because one asks you to love your country and one asks you to perform love regardless of what your country is doing. Briahna's answer was the most American thing said on that entire panel, and it deserves to be laid out fully. Her family has fought in every war America has ever fought. Her ancestors fought in segregated United Colored Troops during the Civil War, fighting for their own freedom and the freedom of all Black people in a country that did not legally recognize them as full human beings. The 14th Amendment that the entire panel was supposedly there to discuss was written specifically to give Black Americans citizenship rights after they had been brought here in chains against their will. The Statue of Liberty, held up constantly as a symbol of American openness, was gifted by France to commemorate the end of slavery. These are not grievances. These are the documented foundations of American history. And Sosnick sat there demanding she perform uncomplicated pride about a country whose relationship with people who look like her has never once been uncomplicated. Andrew Callaghan's line is the one that ended the argument cleanly. Do you support America without any caveat 100% of the time, like a loyal slave? Because that is what the demand actually is, not pride, not love of country, unquestioning performance of loyalty regardless of what the country does at home and abroad. And that is the opposite of patriotism. Real love of country includes the capacity to be ashamed of it when it does shameful things, because that shame is what produces the pressure to do better. The preamble to the Constitution literally asks us to form a more perfect union. More perfect implies it is not perfect yet. Demanding people perform as though it already is does not make it better. It makes accountability impossible. The Gen Z point Callaghan made is the generational reality that makes the fry pan performance feel completely hollow to millions of young Americans right now. 2 jobs, 3 roommates, no affordable housing, no realistic path to the life their parents built. And simultaneously, the country is spending billions on foreign military interventions while domestic life deteriorates for an entire generation. The ask to feel uncomplicated pride about America as a global military force, while life on domestic soil is genuinely brutal, is not a reasonable ask. It is a demand that people perform gratitude for a system that is failing them, and they are not going to produce that performance just because someone hands them a flag pin from a Mar-a-Lago event. Briahna Joy Gray did not fail that loyalty test. She passed a harder one. She laid out her entire family's documented history of service and sacrifice to a country that made her ancestors fight in segregated units for their own freedom and tis. She still found something worth loving in the promise of what America could become that is more patriotism than any flag pin will ever represent. Like this video. Share it with everyone. Still confusing loyalty tests with love of country. Subscribe to Lucas Rant, and we will keep calling it straight. See you in the next one.